Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Timikemza James. For those who are meeting me for the first time or you're a new subscriber, you're welcome to the family. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made a kaftan dress or agbada, or pretty much this dress that I'm going to be making. So I'll be using this really beautiful ankara, and you can see because it has patterns, I'm sort of trying to giving it a nice press so that I get the pattern to like put me in a more slender manner. That's why I'm using the pattern like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the length of the dress, which I'm marking 42 inches, which includes hemming allowance, right? So measure where you want your own dress to be. I want mine to be a short dress actually, so I'm going ahead to rule out this line, which is going to be my starting point. So I'm going to be marking my shoulder point, half of my shoulder. Don't forget the fabric is folded in half, so half of my shoulder is 9 inches. Then I'm going to be marking from my shoulder to my sleeve how long I want the sleeve of the dress to be, plus the hemming of the sleeve, right? So now from that point of that sleeve there, I'm coming down by like 13 inches, which includes sewing allowance, right? So if you can actually do 11 or 10 depending on how open you want the sleeve to be, right? So I just marked that point and I went in by 2 inches. So that 2 inches what I'm going to be using to hem the sleeve, right? So from this point I'm measuring what I have from that 2 inches, because it's the same measurement I'm going to be using on the hem. So after I've done that, I'll just insert it anywhere in the middle of the dress so that my ruler can go ahead and be like, the length of my ruler will be enough. So I just went ahead to like connect the line, and then I connected it to that sleeve side where I left 2 inches sewing allowance, and I ruled out the sleeve, right? So I just went ahead to cut out what I've done, and I'll lay another piece of fabric properly. Then I'll give it a nice press like so. I'll fold it, give it a nice press, and I'm going to go ahead to lay the front pattern that I cut out, right? I'll lay it on this so that I can cut the back side, because the back is pretty much similar to the front. So I'll do that before I cut out my neck, right? Because the difference actually is just on the neck side. So I'll just do that and we'll come back to continue. Now for the neck, I'm going to mark the neck width, which I'm working with 4 inches, right? You can do yours whatever number you prefer, but I would prefer 4 inches for a more balanced neck. Now on the back side, I'm going to both the back and the front is going to be that 4 inches width, and the depth on the front back side is going to be 1.5 or 2 inches at most, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that out. So that will be the front, that will be the back side. Now for the front is going to be a little bit different. Initially I cut out the same thing for the back at the front as well, but I'm going to reshape the front side. Now for the front side, you can have whichever neck you desire, but for me this is what I want to do. I want it to be partly V, partly square, right? So I'm marking the depth of the neck. So I made it 9 inches, but I shouldn't have. If you do not have bust, you can, I think you can get away with 9 inches, but if you're busty, I think you should go 7 inches. I regretted mine because it eventually became a little too much for me. So I wanted to use this ashoke at first as it is silver, but I was not feeling it, so I grabbed another one. So I actually inherited this ashoke from my late mom, God bless and rest her soul. So it's so beautiful, and I felt like it worked a lot better with this material that I'm using, right? So I just folded my ashoke like so, just so that, and I gave it a good press so that I can cut out a facing from the ashoke. It's also a facing, and as well would double as the design for the front side. So after giving it a nice press, I'll go ahead to cut it out as a facing, right, even though it's going to be on the right side of my fabric. Now I lay it down properly on the front side as well. Then what I have on that front neck depth and width is what I marked on it. Then I marked how long I wanted the whatever design to be in front. I think I eventually did about maybe 23, if I'm not mistaken. I did like 23 inches, but I marked 6 inches upwards, right? So from the hem I marked 6 inches. That 6 inches I marked upwards is where my stitching is going to stop, and I'll fray the 6 inches for that fringe design that I have in front of the dress, or I would like in front of the dress, right? So I laid the front, I brought the ashoke back to the cutting board, and I laid the ankara to the front and marked a V neckline from that 4-inch width to the 9-inch point, right? Then I cut out in a V shape. After I did that, I should have left this V effect actually, because I eventually loved it better, right? But I went ahead to make one side of it 4 corner. So what I did is just to lie it like so, and from the middle point I just marked 3 inches, or was it, no, sorry, 4 inches from the middle part like so, and I made it 4 corner. So you can actually change your neck. I think if I would advise you, you should just work with the V neck. I think it's the prettier neck, but if you want exact same thing that I did, you can go ahead and do the exact same thing. So I'm just folding the sides and I'm giving it a very nice press. You have to steam this properly so that it sits and it doesn't move. So I initially wanted to use hemming gum to hold it, but when I gave it a nice press, I discovered there was no need, as the fabric was not moving like I thought it would. So I did not fold the hem side of the ashoke. Now when I was done, I went to the sewing table and I matched the right side of my ashoke to the wrong side of my fabric, and I'm going to go ahead to sew, right? I'm using this tabletop because of the zigzag feature, because if you're used to my tutorials, you know I hardly do this. So I just sewed the neck and I turned it back to the right side, right? So now the wrong side of the ashoke is sitting on the right side, so by hereby revealing the right side of the ashoke, if you know what I mean. So I'm using the zigzag stitch to just go ahead and stitch the ashoke down after pinning it. Then when I get to that about 18 inches depth and leaving that 6 inches for fraying, I just sewed across that point and I top stitch. Basically what I did is top stitching, and as you can see I used a zigzag stitch. It's because of that zigzag stitch I'm showing you the back of the ashoke. So this is the front side already done. So just like I cut a facing to the front, I also cut out a facing for the back, but I misplaced that video, right? I couldn't find the rushes or the raw material, so or the clip, sorry, I said raw material, but this is the facing I cut for the back. I made it shorter. You can choose whatever design you want. So I did the same thing as I did to the front. I just stitched the neck like so, and after stitching the neck, I just top stitched on the ankara, made notches, turned it back to the right side. But before I top stitch on the right side, now I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulder, right? So I joined the right side to the back side as well, and I joined the shoulder, the both shoulders. After joining the shoulder, right, and turning it so that the ashoke side, like the way I would normally join shoulder, I discovered that the raw edges were on the right side, right? And I didn't want to loosen it again, because if you know how, if you've made ashoke before, you know it's not a fabric you'll be sewing and losing, sewing and losing. You just have to be careful. So I just double folded the raw edges like so, and then using a zigzag stitch, I just top stitched on top of the double folded hem like this, just to make it look like a design, right? Then I laid that back, the back facing at the right side as well, and using the same zigzag stitch, I top stitch on top of it like so all the way, right? So when I get close, I just made a notch on the armhole, on the shoulder line, right, on the ankara, so that it will enable me fold in properly around the ashoke as I sew, right? So in case you're wondering and you're not African or Nigerian, you don't know what ashoke is actually a woven material that is common or native to Nigerians, right? Especially the Yoruba part of Nigeria, or the western part of Nigeria. So that's the top stitch that I made. So you can see, as at now our showcase, our dress is coming out nicely. So I hemmed the sleeve, right? So this machine was giving me headache of like cutting thread and all that, so I just went ahead to hem the sleeves, and then I joined the body of the dress. So you can see this is what the dress on the neck side looks. Everything looks beautiful. So I just turned it to the wrong side, right side facing each other, and on the wrong side I just went ahead to start stitching from my sleeve all the way to the hem, right? So if you want a slit, you can leave an opening for a slit, but I do not want a slit as the dress is already short. So I just went ahead to sew it completely. If you like, you can add a pocket, but I did not do that to mine, but you can go ahead and add a pocket. And then that was it for the dress. It was left for me to go and fray the edges, right? By fraying the edges is just me pulling out some of those threads or the woven strands from the material, to leave behind those nylon or polyester. I don't know what material that is that made the fringes. So when I was done, I gave it a good press, and then I'm just pulling out the horizontal lines of the ashoke, so the vertical lines can give this beautiful fringe. So I made a smaller version for my baby girl as well. Funny how hers turned out more beautiful than mine. So here is the finished look of the dress. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new video up on the channel. See you. Bye.